I think. Hold on, let me pull up my own stream on my own account so that I can actually see myself. Wait, am I even audible? Oh yeah, no, I'm audible, definitely. I mean, it shows right there that I'm audible, so I must be audible. What is that? Hold on. Let me pull up my own stream. Uh... Oh man, I subbed. All I have are short videos. There we go. Shorts. In any case, I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing today. If anything, all I really know that I want to do is I want to watch that new Alan Becker episode. That new video he posted. I think was Stickman versus the what was it again? It's Farlands. Man, I haven't heard or said that name in a long time. Probably because I haven't played Minecraft in a long time neither. So, yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta fix this. Oops. I think I shrunk the wrong thing. Oh yeah, most definitely I shrunk the wrong thing right there. That doesn't snap into place. Oh, now I don't know whether I... You know what? That's good enough. Maybe I messed something up, but it'll be fine, right? There we go. Yeah, that's good enough, right? That's good enough. It doesn't look fucked up. That's all that matters, basically. But I've been seeing this. Ignore my For You page. It is most definitely odd. I've never watched this one. Wile E. Coyote and Tom. Where is it? Oh, there it is. In any case, guys, how many gacha games do you play? Oh, by the way, I don't have YouTube Premium as I am too broke to have YouTube Premium, so I don't have YouTube Premium. In any case, how many gacha games do y'all play? I play almost all of them. Almost all of them. Literally, almost every single fucking one of them. My PC does not do me justice. Look at this. My PC does not do me justice. On my phone, I have like 10 fucking more gacha games. Yeah. Oh, this is a continuation of the other one, the last video. Was it the last video or was it the Where are they going? You know, it takes like... How long does it take to get to the far lanes? I know it's fucking fast. It's fucking far. Like, hella fucking far. But, like... Damn, they got there too fast. I'm pretty sure it'd take you weeks, maybe even months to get there, even using the nether. And they're using an old version of Minecraft. I mean, Farlands doesn't exist in the current versions, right? Hold on. Oh, they're all starving to death. Wait, hold on. Am I audible here too? Oh, yep. Yeah, I am. realize this, but trees can grow in the farmlands. Ain't no way that shit drops that many apples. I've shredded through like 23 trees before, and I've got like 18 apples. The apple rate for those things are low. It's glitching. You're not supposed to be there. It's gone, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like they got sent to the back rooms. It's like a perception check or something. I wonder if they're gonna get split up by the far lands. Whoa, what was that? Another stick. It's another stick figure. Oh, yo, something's clanking. I fucking love Alan Becker animations. They're so well made. Also, what are you hitting? Oh, he's losing. He's losing. Oh, he's losing. Oh, that guy's dead. King? Who the fuck are you? Oh. I didn't see the crown and immediately got confused on who that was. Like, I was... His character is so synonymous with the crown that when he doesn't have it on, I get confused who he is. Someone just get fucking shot. How did he get there? Oh, he's gonna blow them all up. That was close one. Okay, there's no way they didn't wake up from that. TNT is loud. Multiple TNT is loud. That trident's enchanted? It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it has loyalty. Teleported by the far lands. Or from the particle effects, it kind of just looks like it got teleported by... Oh, what the fuck is that? What is that? That is not an end entity I've ever seen before. Well, one of them's gone. You know, I never realized it, but who amongst the core group of the stickmen are canonically female? right? Like, I've heard one of them is. I just don't remember who. That's actually insane to ask. Who is female amongst stickmen? Yo, that is terrifying. Theoretically, if you get lost in the far lands and your friend also gets lost in it, there's a pretty high likelihood you will never see each other again unless y'all both die and get sent to spawn. But if you don't die, theoretically, you could just keep going and going and going, and you would probably never see each other ever again. I've never actually gone there myself. I've only really seen videos of it, especially ARGs of it. Yeah, a lot of AO. Oh shit. Run. Yo, he's getting PTSD, panic attacks. I wonder if, oh, dang. Whoa, that is the back room. The Farlands is like the back rooms of the fucking Minecraft world. It's like all the unused assets are just put there. He's having a panic attack. Ooh. Those are legs! What is that? And they're just chilling over there. Oh no, they have all got split up. That was funny. They've gone to the Aether! Yo, I guess the Aether is canon in the Alan Becker world.
In Albion, no matter where you go,
that was it. That was too short. That was
journey.
way too fucking short. Yeah, this was the the video before this one, since we start off exactly at the armor stand. In any case, okay, that's pretty much all I want to watch. I genuinely have no fucking idea what else to do now. What else do people even do on streams? You know, I never really understood that question. Like, what the fuck else do you do? Huh. You know what? I might as well just watch this one. I'm already
I will admit
here
that this
anyway.
AU is pretty good. Now, to understand what's going on in this AU,
I've watched this before?
you guys have been asking me to
The
cover
fact
this.
the fact that this has 16, this was already at 16 seconds means that I've watched this before.
SpongeBob pandemic, or aka the sponge virus, created by Maisharik, I believe is how you say it. And it actually took me a while to do this one because I had to translate the second half of the series. But now that I've actually finished that, I will admit that this AU is pretty good. Now, to understand what's going on in this AU, we're going to have to start from episode 13, which actually shows us how this whole pandemic started. We see SpongeBob starts his day by saying good morning to the sun, brushes his teeth, and then heads out to start his day, thinking that there's nothing that can ruin this beautiful morning. But then he runs into Sandy, who asks him if he would like to be a test subject in an experiment that she's running. She then takes SpongeBob back to her home and has 3 items on the table. One of those is chum, the other is a Krabby Patty, and then this thing in the middle is like some type of combination of the two. And it seems that this is what Sandy has been working on or experimenting on. She basically wanted to develop a way to make chum more edible for the citizens of Bikini Bottom. And while we don't know exactly why she wants to do this, we do know that chum is like the remains of dead fish ground up. So off rip, this experiment is kind of gross and definitely unethical.
Wait, hold on. Whoa, hold on. If chum is the remains of dead fish grounded up, then then it when peop that there was that one fish that Karen was paying off to eat chum, right? That motherfucker's a cannibal. That guy's a fucking cannibal. It's already fucking here, my guy.
A bunch
Like,
of you have been telling me to
we've
check
got-
out this Plants vs. Zombie horror AU called Through the Eyes
We've
of
got,
Plants, and another one called Through the Eyes of Zombies, created by JHG.
Wait, hold on. Holidays are coming. Like, bro, we've got like 4 days, by the way, before Christmas hits. Oh, by the way, it's not Christmas yet, but Merry Christmas, yeah? Like, everybody, I do not feel the Christmas spirit this year. Like, I low-key do not feel the Christmas spirit. The Christmas spirit is low this week. It's kind of sad. That's why we all gotta say Merry Christmas, everyone.
A bunch of you have been telling me to check out this Plants vs. Zombie horror AU called Through the Eyes of Plants, and another one called Through the Eyes of Zombies, created by JHG Comics and Ricto Plays, respectively. And after watching each, I can say that they...
Hold on. When did this happen? No. Man. Damn it.
A bunch of you have been telling me to...
I don't...
A bunch of you have been telling me to check out this Plants vs. Zombie horror
Me
AU
too.
called Through the Eyes of Plants, and another one called Through the Eyes of Zombies, created by JHG Comics and Ricto Plays, respectively.
Eyes
And
of
after watching
Zombies.
each, I can say that they are both really well done and surprisingly gruesome. And I'm not exaggerating when I say gruesome, so if you're used to seeing like the cute little Plants vs.
I mean, imagine being a plant, right? And then a horde of zombies are walking up to you and they're going to fucking eat you. That's gotta be terrifying. Think of it this way. You've got no legs. You're cemented into the ground. You've got a gun. You've got infinite ammo. But then just a horde of zombies are walking towards you. You can't run away. That's gotta be fucking terrifying. They're gonna eat you.
Zombie game, this is not it. Now, Through the Eyes of Plants starts off with this newspaper article, and while my Spanish isn't great, I think it basically says that the war between the plants and the zombies has gotten out of control. And in the next scene, we get a glimpse into this when we arrive on this battlefield and see this war through the eyes of this pea shooter. And just as you would expect in a war, we see this war through the eyes of this pea shooter.
Chomper's jaw off. That was not bitten off. They done did him like this. They fucking murdered him. Damn. I mean, then again, they kind of murder every single plant they come across. So, yeah, fair game, I guess. This pea shooter is gonna get
And just
more
as you would expect in a
flashbacks.
war, we see zombies being blown to smithereens, pieces of plants being ripped off, and just general carnage.
that
I also
guy's
find it funny
mouth.
that when we cut over to Dave for a second, he just sees like a normal sunny day, while these plants are literally fighting for their lives. After the battle is over, we see the pea shooter get rewarded with a sack of cash, although I don't think that's going to be enough to cover.
They don't even got any opposable thumbs to use the cash. What the fuck are they possibly even buying? They don't got a shop. The only shop they've got is Crazy Dave himself. It's like paying your boss. It's like paying your boss for the job you did. It should be the other way around, don't you think?
All the therapy this little dude is going to need. Now, at the end of this first episode, we see a pot with a plant inside, and then we see a needle injecting something into it, causing a pea shooter to be created. And while this may not make sense right now, we'll come back to it later. In the second episode, we start by seeing this little mushroom looking absolutely terrified, awaiting for the next battle.
Isn't
to
that
begin.
just what they
and
usually
then we see
do?
the zombies arrive by first taking out this light source here. And after a short fight where the zombies are kind of kicking the crap out of these little mushrooms, we hear this lullaby in the background.
Oh no, Jack-a-box.
And for the people who may be wondering why this guy seems so creepy, it's because he was somewhat dangerous in the actual game as well.
Yeah.
Basically, the Jack-in-the-Box here is an explosive, and if you don't take him out fast enough, he can
He'll
basically
just
do some
explode.
serious damage to your troops. So it was lucky for the plants that a pea shooter was able to take him out here, or
I always hit this guy with a cherry bomb, a jalapeno, or I just put a squash in front of him. I never really let him get anywhere even halfway through the field. Anywhere near my plans, I never let this man close. He was too devastating.
so I thought, before the Jack-in-the-Box still activated anyway and blew up all the mushrooms. I also felt really bad for this little dude here because he looks devastated at the end of this battle.
I mean, understandable. Imagine all of your battle buddies get fucking eviscerated right in your face. You tried to save one, but then okay. Put it this way: you're a soldier. You're fighting another soldier. The enemy soldier charges your friend, and he just stands there. So you protect him by fucking killing the enemy soldier. But the enemy soldier already cocked his arm and was already throwing the fucking grenade. You tried to save your friend. He still blew up. He just still got blown
The next
to
chapter starts
smithereens.
off with a continuation of
And
a
he
nice
can't even
battle,
run.
but at least now it actually looks like the plants are putting up a real fight. But I think the most important part of this episode is what we see in the garage. We get to see the pea shooter that was created in the first episode, and now he has left the pot.
These motherfuckers can walk?
When the little guy looks around, he sees some experiment plans on the wall, and when
Yo, this is fusion.
he looks around the room,
Oh, that looks like cancer. These guys look like they contracted. They didn't contract cancer. They just got cancer. Whoa. I know these fusion doughs. This is the walnut pea shooter one. This is the...
we can actually see some of these failed experiments. And while they all look lifeless, when the pea shooter goes to the cage here, we can see some kind of creature, although we cut away before the big reveal. Now, while all this is happening in the garage, outside we see this Colonel Corn actually keeping watch.
Corn.
And then we see a huge zombie mech come onto the battlefield. And for a moment, the plants are actually holding their own until this freaking mech releases a fireball, which destroys their line. And at this point, I really just feel bad for the plant. This chapter ends.
How is Crazy Dave's house that fucking strong? His rooftop is literally indestructible, right? You've got the weight of like 2 10-wheelers on your roof, and your shit is just not collapsing. He's launching fireballs. He's launching RVs on your roof. He's launching freezing balls. I don't know what
this
those
little
ones
dude
are.
here, and for a moment
And
we
your
see this
shit-
purple pair of eyes hiding inside the mech. But before we can actually get a good look at it, the mech closes his hand and crushes this little plant.
Isn't that
and then
just
the mech
Dr.
goes on
Zombox?
to continue to rage throughout the battlefield. In the next chapter, we see that the Plant vs. Zombie hero characters are not able to avoid this war. And judging by the look on Solar Flare's face here, they are definitely traumatized. And you can't really blame her when you see that the green shadow has been beaten down and then it looks like
They done crucified my girl. That's a girl, right?
nailed to this crosshair. Brass knuckles are in the hands of this zombie, and Solar Flare basically just has to watch this dude be ripped apart. We have a moment of hope when Chompzilla comes onto the scene and tears into this zombie, only for the mech to come back and make short work of her as well. And while I know some people were upset that Solar is just standing there looking at all this go down, in reality, most of you would probably do the same thing as well if you were in this crazy battle. But put down in the comments, do you think if you were in a war like this that you would freeze up like Solar
low-key would be fighting for my life.
Flare, or do you think you'd be right in there fighting with your
At the very
comrades?
least, I wouldn't be standing there.
After all that, we cut
Either
back into
I'm
the
fighting
garage
or I'm
and see this
running.
paper with plans to turn plants into their hero forms, although most of the attempts have failed. But as you can see here, there was one success. On the operation table, we see this sunflower who is strapped down with Dave looking over her, ready to start this experiment. Also, make sure to notice that his eyes are purple here, and that will play a big part later on in the series. Next, we see this image, and it's basically
I mean, then again, if you think about it, Crazy Dave is just as insane as Dr. Zomboss. Is he gonna turn him into a human?
showing the next part of the experiment, which seems to be turning the sunflower into this human plant hybrid. In the next scene, we see Dave inject some kind of serum into Solar Flare, which causes her eyes to bulge in panic and her limbs to start to grow rapidly. After that, we cut back to this image and we see the word failure here. Although, based on the fact that Sunflower wakes up, I would say that this operation was a success. This scene ends with Dave and what looks like the zombie mech looking into the garage before the Sunflower passes out again. And while this may seem confusing now, it'll make more sense later. Trust me.
Maybe I've got an idea. Maybe Crazy Dave is dead. And that's not actually Crazy Dave. That's Dr. Zomboss pretending to be Crazy Dave, doing experiments on the plants just for the sake of science. I mean, think about it. The plants in the plants. Okay, the plants in general are like an anomaly, right? They're living. Okay, they're like mammals stuffed into the body of a plant. That's just crazy, you know. That's a major scientific breakthrough if you could manage to duplicate that or keep. I don't even know.
Now, after some time, we see that Solar Flare wakes up, and as she's looking around the room, she finds plans for the human-plant hybrids that she was based on. But what she doesn't notice is that
they done made her into even more of a baddie.
There seems to be another set of plans on the back, and this one seems to be for a pea shooter instead of a sunflower. And then we see the garage door open and a pair of eyes looking in through the darkness, followed by a pea narrowly missing the sunflower's head. This chapter ends with a bunch of eyes glaring in through the darkness, which when you think about it is absolutely terrifying. The next episode acts as a bit of a flashback, and as you could have guessed, the war is still raging, with these pea shooters holding the line. But more importantly, we see a Zomboss here, and he seems to be doing an experiment where he's taking the head of a pea shooter and placing it on the body of a zombie, in a way creating the zombie version of the sunflower hybrid. We also notice in the back here that Dave's name is written all over the wall again and again, showing a weird kind of obsession that I don't...
Zombot. His mech is X'd out. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Dr. Zomboss didn't kill Dave, but instead he did something. Dave did something and took Zombot's bot.
It's written all over the wall again and again, showing
let's just keep watching. I'm gonna stop interrupting because this is
that I don't remember from the game. Another thing that I noticed is that overall, Zomboss also just looks defeated, almost as if he's been forced to continue this fight against his will. The last thing that I want to note in this episode is the reference to the 1,000-yard stare image here, which funny enough has been like a meme in the Plant vs. Zombie community with a ton of artwork being made in reference to it. The episode ends going back to the present, showing not only the zombie pea shooter, but also some of the other plant zombie hybrids. And while this is obviously a tough position...
What exactly is a squash zombie hybrid gonna do? Is he just gonna fucking slam his head on you?
For our duo here, I do find it kind of cute that the sunflower is holding on to the pea shooter as if she's gonna protect the little dude.
World of Tanks. I'm not promoting World of Tanks, but I guess I am now. Yo, go play World of Tanks. There's an ad
that it took
here.
on the humans and the plants, really.
What is
out
this?
The way they, especially
Whoa,
because
hold on. That skipped everything. There we go.
if she's gonna protect the little dude. The next chapter starts with the zombie plants attacking our duo, but the sunflower is able to not only dodge, but also fight back here. We also see some of these failed experiments fighting to protect the pair as well, but even with all that, the pea shooter zombie is still able to get a hand on a sunflower, but luckily, she's able to actually rip off her own hand, which I hope is gonna grow back, and she gets away from the zombie, setting the whole garage up in flames as she leaves. And if you're like me, you probably thought that she was gonna be safe now, but apparently this zombie is basically like Nemesis and can survive just about anything.
He dodged
We then see
that.
the sunflower collapse, worn out by all this action. But before the zombie can actually get to her, he starts having flashbacks, remembering not only how he was created, but all the carnage he has seen when he was still alive. And at first, I didn't understand, but it seems like this pea shooter is one of the first plants to get taken out in the earlier episodes of the series. Now, the next episode is actually a song, and I think that this was meant to show the connection between this series and the series called Through the Eyes of Zombies, which is where the man is actually from here. And as I said, my Spanish isn't great, but the song is basically about how this man is suffering in this war.
Okay.
He's been
So
forced
also, are we about to see the other viewpoint now?
to fight, and like his body has been mutated. I'd appreciate if some of my Spanish speaking people could give like a more detailed translation because I think I probably understand it, but you guys will definitely have a better grasp of it than I do. In the 8th episode, it seems to be like a series of flashbacks. The first one being Dave and the plants living happily, and then abruptly turning into like this dark, warlike atmosphere from earlier episodes. To another flashback that shows when Solar Flare was fighting and had just witnessed Chompzilla get crushed. But in this vision, we get to see this shadowy figure laughing down at her while controlling the mech. And if you remember from earlier, we saw that whoever was controlling the mech had purple eyes. In the next scene, we get to see Zomboss, and his base has been infiltrated by Dave and a fire and ice pea shooter. And surprisingly, Dave isn't messing around here, and he immediately gives Zomboss that shovel work, taking off some of the flesh on his head, leaving him alive, but obviously messed up. The next scene cuts back to the present day.
Okay, now this is what fucks me up. Dave easily found Doctor Zomboss and beat the shit out of him, but didn't kill him. This tells me only one thing. Dave doesn't want the war to end. Why?
And Solar Flare and the pea shooter are walking down the street here when they see this skeleton with writing above it saying, "The living dead wears masks," which I believe still refers to the human from the song and also just like the overall Through the Eyes of Zombie animation. Now our duo here doesn't have
Wait,
time
hold
to-
on. Now that I'm thinking about it, how smart is Crazy Dave, right? Hold on. Let that pass through. Okay, how smart is Crazy Dave, right? We've clearly seen other plants in the verse of Plants vs Zombies just be regular fucking plants, just regular plants, regular everyday plants. They don't got eyes, no mouth, no abilities, no nothing. And yet it seems like whenever Crazy Dave does something to a plant, it somehow turns into this. Plants are already living things, right? But it's like it crosses between an animal and a plant. Clearly, Dr. Zomboss is not the one who made these things. It's Crazy Dave. Maybe, holy shit, I just got a big brain idea. Maybe Crazy Dave isn't just a crazy guy. Maybe he's a crazy fucking scientist that crossed animals with plants. And now they've created this sort of hybrid to fight against the zombies. And now he's gone even crazier and is now fusing humans with the animal plant hybrids, creating this right here. I just got a big brain fucking idea. Damn.
Ponder this body or what's written on the walls here because a zombie bursts out of a building, giving them more pressing things to worry about.
Oh.
This episode ends by going back to the veggie zombie who is standing in front of the zombie mech. And surprisingly, the head opens up, revealing the pilot, who is none other than Dave, which I'm sure some of you have probably already figured out.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer. Like, it was obvious off rip.
Coke time ka muna.
Coke ka muna.
The next episode starts with us seeing this hypno shroom watching all the war and carnage taking place. And while I think that he's just like going to be another victim, it doesn't go down like that. Instead of being eaten, this mushroom mind controls a zombie and then forces him to tear into his own team.
The same color.
And judging by the fact that his smile gets bigger and bigger here, you can tell that he's enjoying this. And as a side note, this is a nice little twist because in the official lore, this mushroom can make zombies fight each other, but it really wanted to infect the zombies and force them to join the plants because it didn't really see the zombies as enemies, but rather just misguided creatures. But in this AU, it seems like the mushroom is fed up with this war in general and ready to tear it all down. We see this even further when it goes to Dave's window and places him under its mind control. And now it all starts to make sense why Dave started experimenting on plants and how he was able to access that zombie mech. The little mushroom has basically been pulling the strings on both sides of this war. We can even see the mushroom is attached to Dave's head here, basically acting as a parasite and controlling him and a bunch of other creatures. And while we see our veggie zombie trying to fight back, he is completely overwhelmed by the fire and ice pea shooters, who seem to have gone through the same or a similar transformation as him. Luckily, Solar Flare and a little pea shooter are still alive and fighting, and as you can see here, she is not messing around and gives this guy a full Solar Flare right to the face. And even though the action seems to take her out of her human form, she seems to be relieved to be back to her actual body, at least until she sees the football zombie walk out of her flames.
Yeah.
Mad as heck and virtually unharmed. The final scene of this episode shows the pea shooter zombie knocked out and torn up. But as we fade to black,
Are you
we
sure
can
she's
kind of
not
see
dead?
his limbs are starting to grow back, showing that he's not out of the fight just yet.
Oh, damn.
In the final chapter, we start out by seeing this football zombie is still being a menace, whooping hand, feet, and cheeks. And while that fight is happening, we get to the important part, which is when we see our duo get picked up by the mech and have a chance to actually speak with the Hypno Shroom. And for what I can understand, the mushroom greets Solar Flare, referring to her as her sister, and explains that she's unhappy with the fact that she doesn't have full control of all the soldiers on the battlefield, especially this guy here who is still on a rampage. She also tells Solar that she has tasted the future that all plants will soon share, referring to the fact that Solar had actually taken a human serum earlier in the series. And this
Oh my goodness, does the Hypno Shroom want to turn all of the plants into humans? Does the Hypno Shroom want to replace humanity?
seems to be the end goal that this mushroom has in mind for all the plants, so that they can claim their rightful place at the top of the food chain, so to speak. The shroom also claims that all this carnage was for the betterment of all plant kind. But in the middle of his speech, we see someone take a snipe at him, forcing him to go on to the next step of the plan, which is to inject himself with the serum. And then we see this mushroom turn into a human plant hybrid as well. And while all this
Isn't
is
he
happening,
still
we
on
see
top
that the
of
football
Dave's head?
zombie is still been a menace and taking down his minions in the background. Can we get a football zombie as the GOAT in the chat? My man is really single-handedly like evening out this fight in a way. Now, since Solar Flare is not willing to go along with the Shroom's plan, the two of them start to battle on top of the mech, but it's pretty one-sided considering that Solar Flare is much weaker at nighttime. The only good news here is that the footballer is causing so much chaos that it forces the Shroom to actually focus on him for a moment.
Yo, y'all gotta get that football zombie on your team. Don't let him
Even
die.
going as far as to send the mech to attack him directly. And just when it seems like this is going to be the end for Solar, we see a shovel embed itself into the Shroom's shoulder. And then the original veggie zombie takes off a whole chunk of his side. Unfortunately, this isn't enough to put this guy down, and he's able to throw the veggie zombie away. But then we see this little pea shooter take a shot at the stem that is connecting the mushroom to Dave, severing the connection, meaning that Dave is now fully back in control of his body. And this gives the veggie zombie a opening to attack, leaving both of them with terrible wounds. But it seems like the Shroom is the stronger of the two because he's able to get back on his feet and press the attack.
No, they got
But
rip
since
my
the sun
guy
is back
apart.
up now, Solar is able to attack again, giving this mushroom the full solar blast, only for him to eat that as well. And just when it seems
Damn,
like
he's
this battle
eating
will
all these
never
attacks. How is he not dead yet? Hold on, how is he not dead yet?
the football zombie, aka the GOAT,
Oh!
comes through and rips the mushroom.
This man single-handedly fucking eliminated the entire team. He fucking eliminated the entire team, equalizing the board, tanked a shot from the Zombot, and then took out the main boss. Yo, bro, this guy is
and a
overpowered.
half, finally putting an end to this battle before fading himself. The next scene shows what happens after the battle, and it's basically a beautiful sunny day, and we see the pea shooter and Solar Flare out in the yard, and other plants are starting to come back as Dave is watering the grass. And as Solar is laying in the grass, we see a sunflower statue appear with a note next to it. And while some people think that this is a hint to what is going to happen in part 2, we don't have much to go on here. Some people think that in the next
Who's the sniper? Who is the sniper guy on top of the roof that shot like a purple laser on top of them? Also, Dr. Zomboss is still very much pissed off at Dave. Like very pissed off.
series, it's going to be the plants
And chances are he probably doesn't know that he was hypnotized.
and the zombies versus the gnomes, but I have a different take. When you zoom into the face of the statue here, you can see that the sunflower has X's over its eyes, and this kind of gives the vibe as if like it's no longer living. I think the note in the statue are basically a threat and that Solar is still in danger, although we don't actually know what the danger is yet. Now that we have covered Through the Eyes of Plants, I want to go over some of the episodes from Through the Eyes of Zombies because it will help us kind of understand some of the
We
lore
haven't been
from the
able to
series
see
as a
this
whole.
yet. So I guess we haven't been able to see this one yet. I'm not sure whether they've got episodes on that on his channel on Orcio Fork's channel, but let's see.
And fair warning, you're probably going to start feeling bad for the zombies here. Now, Through the Eyes of Zombies starts out with Zomboss doing some kind of experiment on this human here, and it's pretty graphic. And I'm not sure I want to show too much of it, especially because YouTube has already slapped me down for my My Little Worms video. Now, once this experiment is over, we see Zomboss direct the humans to go attack Dave, and this is where things start to click for me. In this series, the zombies are actually humans, and they are being forced to fight in this war against their will, which makes the song that the creators made make a lot more sense.
Honestly, that makes sense, right? Like the moment I listened to the song a little bit, and that's the only thing that really clicked to me. The zombies were clearly just humans. I mean, the masks, like, bro, you could not have the graffiti written on the wall. It was a
The
no-brainer.
other thing that I find interesting is just like with Dave, initially the humans see these plants as like cute little creatures, but that all changes once this pea shooter takes a shot at one of them. And then we see the plants change in real time. We also learn here that if the humans do not fight, the collars around their necks will explode, showing that these poor dudes don't really have a option but to attack. Our main character here does manage to
Damn, they done turned that guy into. Oh, he fucking got turned into a fucking red mists. Must have doom shroomed his ass. But they done roided up my guy. Turned him into a mass.
escape though. However, I'm not sure that that's actually the better fate. And we can kind of see this in the next scene where he's breaking down because of all the carnage that he just witnessed, only for him to be sent right back out to the fight again. And since we've already seen this battle from the eyes of the plants, I'm only going to point out a few things, such as the Jack-in-the-Box zombie, who I thought was so creepy initially. But when you look at him here, I
He's even
definitely just feel
creepier.
bad for this guy because he knows that his time is up either way.
I
Another
mean,
thing
he's literally just a kamikaze that knows he's a kamikaze.
that stood out is this disco guy here who manages to escape the battle only to have his collar explode. And if you look here, this is actually the scene from the first series that actually told us that the Walking Dead wear masks, which now makes this all make sense. I don't know if this guy was trying to like get a message out to the plants or Dave maybe to see if they could help them get out of this battle, but obviously that did not work. After that, we get it looking to Zomboss's lab and see this list of humans that he has created. And we see like Zombie Stein here has already been taken out, the Disco Zombie had his head popped off, and the Super Brain has escaped. But before Zomboss can move on to another experiment, Dave bursts into his lab, basically showing us the shovel scene from Zomboss's perspective, and also revealing how Dave was able to get to the mech. In the next chapter, we also get to see how the humans and the plants were trying to come together at one point and stop the violence, but we know that the Hypnoshroom wasn't having any of that. It made sure to put down any person that he couldn't control, which is what we actually see happen to this poor guy here.
Damn.
We also get to learn why some of the zombies were so strong, and it seems like Zomboss did some more experimenting to turn the humans into superheroes, basically like how the plants have their heroes like Solar Flare and Green Shadow.
Basically,
but none of
he
these humans
drugged
wanted to
them.
actually go through
Gave them a little bit of gene editing and just fucking drugged them in
this
general.
terrible torture that took place in order to get these powers. Something else that I want to point out, just as a side note, is that Chompzilla is absolutely terrifying from the perspective of the humans. She was basically just stalking around the battlefield, devouring any human that she found. All in all, I thought that this was a really cool concept, especially because they gave us the option to see like both sides of the battle, why things played out the way they did, and the toll that it took on the humans and the plants, really. I didn't add as much as I could have from the Through the Eyes of Zombies series because we pretty much already knew everything that happened.
That's
through the
just
eyes of
pretty
the
much
plants.
what a war
But I
is, you know? That's pretty much just what war is. No one really wins. The only winners are the people who aren't in the battlefield. The ones who aren't dying. The ones who aren't risking their lives. Those are the real winners. The real losers are literally everyone else. Literally everyone else is a loser in war. No one else wins.
Okay, Gemini, turn my CV in.
I wonder what else I can watch. I can hear the chickens clucking.
What is it this time? What is it this time? Young
Bird dog.
Masood?
You have some crumbs on you.
Mine, thanks. This is a bit embarrassing. What is it this time? What is it this time?
Yo guys, sorry for my For You page, but I am a holy shit. Fuck, this is all just a bunch of memes and it's just a picture in the back. What the fuck is that? It took me a fucking second to even understand what I was seeing. It took me a second to I don't even got words for it anymore. Superman versus analog horror Superman versus Goku isn't close. Both analog horrors. I don't actually know how that would work. I got nothing else. I rip off. What's this? Atlantic Rim, the Pacific Rim ripoff, the movie. What is this? By Diamond Bolt. Oh my god, I have not watched Diamond Bolt in years. Hold on, how's he doing? He's still uploading, right? Yeah. The hilarious world of bad animation, the progressing world of canceled movies, the most over. I haven't watched this man in fucking years. Maybe in like 3 years now. Maybe in 4. Damn. Fuck. Should watch this. Insane fan theories. You know, I got time. You know, let's watch. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch the tiger by the toe. If she holla, 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 let her go. Is that how the Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo song works? I've heard that shit multiple times over and over again, and I think that's how it goes. So let's watch this one. The Crazy World of Insane Fan
You
Theories.
see, the average male.
You know, I have a lot of fan theories myself, alright? I am no stranger to fan theories.
You see, the average male height of a human being is 5'6" tall.
Oops. Immediately got straight to the end.
You see, the average male height of a human being is 5'6" tall,
Game
1.67 meters. The average female is 5'2" or 1.57 meters. Our crewmates in Among Us.
I love fan theories, man. Where else are you gonna find people making like 50-paragraph breakdowns about how High School Musical and Breaking Bad can take place in the same universe? And okay,
Film theory and game theory in general are just the kings, the undisputed rulers of fan theories.
maybe you're thinking, wait, Adam, didn't you already do this one? Yeah, I did it 5 years ago, okay? Back when my head used to look like a thumb. I'm never not gonna have the time of my life going through extremely unmedicated hour-long YouTube videos where someone has thought way too hard about the fact that in one of the Muppets Christmas specials, there's a scene where Kermit gets sent to an alternate universe where he was never born, but the fact that there is a visible shot of the World Trade Center in the skyline implies that in the Prime Muppets universe, he is canonically at least partially responsible responsible for 9/11. And, you know, other things that I'm sure normal people think about all
what
the
the
time.
fuck did Kermit
like
do?
the exact measurements of Luigi's dick and balls.
By measuring out the length of the bulge as indicated by the shadow on his shorts, it gives us a length of 10.8.
Whoa! Whoa! Hold on. What the fuck? I do not remember that theory.
Measuring out the length of the bulge as indicated by the shadow on his shorts, it gives us a length of 10.85 centimeters.
What am I doing with my life?
7 inches.
Yo, Luigi's packing. What?
By the way, in case you're wondering. But I mean, I'll take that any day over like the usual depressing ass theories that are regurgitated by podcasts run by like a communal brain cell.
Everyone is dead. Your favorite character actually fucking kills everybody. The world is ending. That's the kind of usual fan theories you actually get. Like you rarely genuinely get a theory that's good for the characters. Like, a Poppy escapes the simulation, lives a normal life, dies in her 80s or some shit like that. But no. You get fan theories like, Plants vs. Zombies is a world that has already ended and is only happening in Crazy Dave's head because Crazy Dave is crazy. And he's actually in a mental hospital, and Dr. Zomboss is just a regular fucking doctor. Like some shit like that, you know? It's never really good for the main characters, basically.
Like, what if Finn from Adventure Time was in a coma? What if Ash from Pokemon was in a coma? And what if Homer Simpson was in a coma? But let me ask you an important question, okay?
Coma theory.
Why do the cars in the Cars movies have doors? If your answer is because it's a movie for children, you might want to click off now because you are going to fucking hate the rest of this video. Even as a stupid-ass 10-year-old, I was questioning the logistics of the Cars universe. Like, why do they have rear-view mirrors and seats and steering wheels if there's no one to drive them? What is the purpose of a taxi in this society if everything else is a car? Who is bro driving? And will Lightning McQueen ever be held accountable for what he sent to those miners? I feel like it was straight...
Maybe scooters, you know? It's every single vehicle in the world of cars is a living thing, right? We've seen this. We see tractors, of course, regular cars. We've got ships, airplanes, maybe things like scooters, e-bikes, or motorcycles, or maybe even like, I don't know, a skateboard is a living thing. Maybe they need some rides, you know?
Straightforward enough in the first movie, but I mean, Cars 2 has a car pope, which implies the existence of a car Christianity
Jesus.
and a car Jesus.
Maida, are these cars considered
Who the fuck crucified car Jesus?
lemons?
Is the Pope Mobile Catholic?
Hey guys, so while that insane man has a mental breakdown, I'm going to tell you about the sponsor of this video, Man to Sleep. Like
You know
any
what, we're
fully
not gonna
brain-rotted
skip this.
20-something-year-old who doom scrolls
gotta
on their
support
phone until
this
3
man.
a.m., I am not that great at sleeping nowadays. I think I'm at the point where I'm functioning entirely off of lethal amounts of caffeine and Instagram Reels. And on
No,
the 2 nights a
I
year...
am functioning off of lethal amounts of caffeine, alright? I don't know how I'm living right now. You're talking to an anomalous entity. I should be dead.
I do actually get to sleep. I'm very fortunate to be the proud owner of the worst blinds of all time that are so bad at keeping out the one thing it's supposed to do that I get completely flashbanged every time the sun comes up. But it's nice to know that it's not just me, okay? Apparently sunlight messes with our circadian rhythm and makes it harder to fall asleep and feel refreshed.
That's why I
which don't
fucking
think I
hate the
felt since
light.
I came out of the womb. But with Manta Sleep's Sound V2 mask,
Keep
you can
me
finally
in
get
the
100%
dark.
blackout from that pesky sun and a pretty sick Gojo cosplay at the same time. Their mask is easy to adjust, super spacious and comfy, easy to clean.
Imagine instead of a cloth over his face, Gojo just wears those sleeping masks.
Doesn't put pressure on your face and works no matter how you sleep,
guess it
and is
works either
especially
way,
designed for you complete psychopaths that sleep on their side. And if you're also blessed enough to share a house with the kind of people that cause a 5.3 magnitude earthquake every time they snore, don't worry.
That's my dad. That's my fucking dad. The one that causes earthquakes whenever he snores. That's just my dad, bro.
The main feature of the mask is its ultra-thin Bluetooth speakers and 24-hour battery life, so you can comfortably fall asleep to that boyfriend ASMR RP that I know you listen to every night.
Hell no! I don't really listen to boyfriend ASMR. I listen to mommy ASMR.
So as always, make sure to hit up the Manta Sleep website and use my code on screen for 10% off to start getting that much deeper sleep today. Thanks to Manta Sleep for sponsoring this video and being my single greatest weapon against daylight savings. And now back to the video. Sarge in the first movie is a Jeep from 1939, and in the spin-off movie Planes, we literally see a flashback of plain Sonic the Hedgehog fighting in World War II.
Car World 2.
Enemy ship, 2 o'clock low, 2 miles. Easy pickings, what do you say?
Negative, Jigsaw 2.
Come on, Skip, it'll be a turkey shoot.
And we know that there are other countries
They're
like
all
this
dead.
too, because there's a car Italy and Japan. This is a population of merchandisable sentient vehicles on a global scale. Cars 2 also has a TSA, which begs the question, do you think the plane was sentient? And there are UFOs that are also cars, which implies the entire galaxy is like this. And the more we find out, the more questions we get from the extensive lore they casually drop.
Again, that means that literally every single vehicle in existence is a living entity. That means motorbikes, e-scooters, fucking maybe skateboards or hoverboards, you know? Maybe that shit is actually a living entity. We've just never seen one before. So they would be the ones capable of using the taxis.
In the car shorts, like finding out they apparently evolved from prehistoric cars and car dinosaurs. And this is not even mentioning the scene where Mater goes to the...
Hold on. Yep, my camera got fucking fucked up, unfortunately. There we go.
bathroom. Which, I mean, yeah, you could be like, is a car wash for them, but then why are there sinks and a hole in the ground? Do they shit? I mean, we get confirmation in Cars 2 that they can die, because Mater makes about 38 potential orphans in that movie, which is not even surprising coming from the guy that casually has a bunch of amputated body parts in his scrapyard that nobody in Radiator Springs thinks is weird at all. Maybe because in a deleted scene in the first movie, Lightning's original punishment...
That's like having a bunch of fucking livers in your fucking backyard, or like a bunch of spleens in
for the
there.
$80 billion of property damage he caused was for them to surgically remove his fucking brain and transplant it into another car.
What have you done to me? You put my engine in a steamroller?
This being before they put Mater's brain into McQueen's body and he is able to drive around using his hollowed out corpse.
What? When the fuck did this happen? Also, a car's brain is their engine? If that's the case, then I guess skateboards wouldn't be really a living thing, since I guess you would need engines in order to, as your brain. So, therefore, only things with engines would be capable of being a sentient being, like motorcycles, cars, ships, airplanes, you know, stuff like that. I guess skateboards would just be non-living things.
What do you think you're doing?
Just borrowing your body. Come on, you ain't using it. I'll give it back when you're done.
And even if at the end you find out it was all a dream, still, this scene tells us that the souls of the cars are stored in their engine. But then, in like the opening 5 minutes of the first movie, we are burdened with the knowledge of the existence of car children. But how do they reproduce? We also see Francesco's mother in Cars 2. How does that work? Did she birth him? There's been some pretty solid ideas thrown around, you know, people were saying they were...
Maybe from the exhaust pipe, you know? Oh, what the fuck? Wait, hold on, what the fuck? That's their tongue. Okay, hold on. Food goes into there. Okay, no, I see my queen's. Okay, food goes into there. Goes to under their engine. So that would be that would be like your food going under your brain, right? I wonder if they feel that shit. I wonder if they feel the food touch their brains. Okay, goes to their stomach right here. This is the intestines, right? Wait, hold on. This is the brain. This is a brain. This is... What? This is... Okay, they clearly shit from their exhaust, alright? That's a no-brainer. They shit from their exhaust. They probably birth from their exhaust, too. Maybe they have... Maybe every car in the Cars verse has multiple fucking exhausts, and one is for birthing, one's a dick. How does that work? Exhausts are solid metal pipes. How do they bend their dicks to fit into a female car's exhaust to impregnate. What the fuck am I talking about? And their brains. That's their brain. That would mean that if you opened up the door, you would immediately be hit with their brains. You could lobotomize someone by simply opening the door and throwing something in. What? Huh? Is this canon? I'm not even sure whether this is canon, but I'm
evolved from like insects, given that like all of the animals are also cars. There's like some interviews with Pixar that I'm choosing not to source where they said they might have evolved from like self-driving cars, which would explain the constant remnants of human influence. Or maybe, as this one guy with an unnecessarily detailed diagram was willing to ask, what if the humans are the cars? Which only sounds crazy until you remember that the cars eat human food in Cars 2, okay? When Mater goes to Japan, he eats normal-ass sushi that I guess is made from fucking car fish or something. The cars drink oil, but also water and regular alcohol that I don't even know how they get in their mouths because they don't have fucking hands. And in the first movie, Mater takes Lightning to a farm to go tractor tipping, and I have always wondered why they were even there. Because it forces you to ask whether they eat the tractors or the much worse option of whether they are milking them. And if you want to like consider the Pixar theory, you know, the idea that every Pixar...
Wait, hold on. What the fuck are they eating? They're eating... Hold on. They're eating regular ass food. But these cow tractors are clearly supposed to be stand-ins for cows. If that's the case, then are they butchering these cows? And if that's the case, then why I'm dying. And if that's the case, then why don't we see them eat metal scrap? Like, why aren't they cooking metal scrap? Instead, they're cooking regular ass fucking food. Where's the meat coming from?
Is connected along the same timeline that only works if you don't think about it at all. You could say that this just takes place a while after they destroyed the planet in WALL-E and that all of the cars are mech suits devised by the remaining population of Reddit mods, which is my personal favorite because that means that Cars 2 is a full-length Gundam movie. Anyway, let's talk about something I don't shoehorn into enough things on this channel, Transformers. In the lead up to the 7th Transformers movie that any normal person that gets more than 5 minutes of sunlight a day probably isn't aware is separate to the Michael Bay movies, which you can tell by the absence of pissing robots.
I know
we found out that the bad guy of the movie was going to be Unicron, this big-ass planet dude with zero character traits outside of gobbling up planets and kidnapping the hottest member of their species to turn into his edgy DeviantArt OCs he calls Terracons. One of these Terracons is Scourge, who before the movie came out, all we knew about...
Scourge died like a bitch. Pulled up like he had aura and fucking died by like a bitch by the end.
He was like a
movie.
big evil dude who turns into a truck and appeared to be wearing a mask. And one day, when some promo art for his toy came out, someone noticed something a little strange. Because the only part of his face that we could see behind the mask looked suspiciously like Optimus Prime's head. And that's when it hit me and the other 7 people that were excited for this movie. What if Scourge was Optimus Prime? Not this Optimus Prime, the Optimus from the Michael Bay movies, who I must remind you are not the same guy, I promise. The last movie Michael Bay did ends on a cliffhanger that was never resolved because it was genuinely one of the worst things ever made by a human being. In that movie, the last we saw of Optimus was that he had been like mind controlled by a squid lady to go around role-playing my childhood Friday nights with my dad, and then ended with us finding out that Unicron was like apparently hidden in the earth the entire time. Literally none of it made any sense in the actual movie, but all of a sudden it was like all of the extremely vague evidence that we needed.
How did no one fucking see the obviously protruding alien fucking spacecraft looking thing that's massively protruding from the ground? Like, did no one like notice that? Like, it was very clearly shown that the humans in the first movie didn't fucking know that fucking Decepticons and Autobots were a thing. So how the fuck...
Unicron gobbled his ass and sent him to a different universe as the Transformers equivalent of Shadow the Hedgehog. And look at all of the compelling evidence. They both turn into a truck. Yeah, but considering that like this Scourge design wasn't even the one they were gonna use in the movie and that the head was definitely just a reused asset, ultimately everyone decided that maybe we were all getting a little carried away. Until another toy came out for another Terracon battle trap, except the promo art they used wasn't of his actual model, but instead it was Ironhide, also from the Michael Bay movies. and putting aside the fact that it was probably just the package designers being lazy and that Ironhide was literally already fucking dead, even more Art of Scourge came out with the smokestacks on his back, just like Optimus Prime. This idea was like so unbelievably stupid and would completely isolate general audiences that have literally no fucking idea what any of this means, but I went into this movie so goddamn ready for the most convoluted twist ever put to film, and then nah. Scourge is just a guy. They even do a whole scene where his mask gets knocked off and it's meant to be like a huge reveal, but nah. He's just ugly. You never find out where he came from or what his
No wonder he wears a fucking mask. He looks like shit.
deal was. He just spends the entire movie aura farming until he gets decapitated.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need.
But of course, we're going to save the best till last for a theory that's so good that you can play as it in Fortnite now as long as you're willing to pay $32. The Darth Jar Jar theory is probably like the most well-known fan theory of all time, and it's not like I'm going to be going over anything new here. I just think this one's really fun. Unless you don't care about Star Wars, in which case this is going to be a really rough 4 minutes. 1999 might have been the year that we came the closest to world peace, because the only thing that anyone cared about other than the impending Y2K apocalypse was how much everyone fucking hated Jar Jar Binks. Star Wars Episode 1 was easily like one of the most hyped movies of all time, being like the first Star Wars movie in 16 years that promised to show us like the origin of Darth Vader and a younger Yoda. So I think it was a perfectly reasonable crash out when people saw the movie and then found out that half the screen time was going to be spent on this dude. That everyone thought was way too cartoonish and unrealistic in a series about telekinetic space wizards.
Lisa called Jar Jar Binks. Lisa, your humble servant.
I hate the fuck that he talks.
But it only took one guy on Reddit to forever change
I hate the way he talks. It pisses me off. It's about to be daytime, actually.
Legacy of this insufferable piece of shit character and an iconic theory that I'm about to regurgitate to you now as if this shit didn't come out like 8 years ago. The Phantom Menace is kind of a hard story to explain the plot of. It is like unnecessarily complicated for a movie that's meant to be selling McDonald's cups, so I'm gonna do my best to like summarize it as poorly and quickly as possible. 2 Jedi, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Liam Neeson, go to a planet called Naboo to protect Natalie Portman from a race of frog people, and on the way run into a 9-year-old slave called Anakin Skywalker, who I'm sure is gonna turn out just fine. But also, some annoying-ass frog guy named Jar Jar Binks, whose most important contribution to the movie is a scene where he steps in shit. But like, what if he was just making himself look like a dumbass so that no one suspected him, like a Bruce Wayne Batman kind
Hell
of thing,
no,
you know?
he's just
and,
a
I mean,
dumbass.
It works because it is unbelievable how many political discussions he's able to eavesdrop on because everyone hates him too much to even care that he's there. But sometimes he lets the mask slip, okay? Because, like, within 5 minutes of meeting Liam Neeson, he immediately does this sick-ass backflip from, like, a jump 100 feet in the air. You think a normal guy can do that? Not in Star Wars,
probably
okay?
just
They
his
make a huge
species.
point that the only people that can do that kind of shit are Force-sensitive or Boba Fett. So whenever he's involved in combat, he just acts like he's not a threat. Like, yeah, it's just a total coincidence that he squad wipes, like, 50 droids at the end of the movie. Okay, sure, man. And we also know that George Lucas loves doing shit like this, because consider this, alright? Yoda was also a freaky little gremlin man until we found out that he was the most powerful Jedi in the entire galaxy. Same with Senator Palpatine, who we later found out is actually the Emperor of the Dark Side, who just puts on a hood every time he has to do his evil Skype calls. And then you start to notice other things, like that Jar Jar has yellow eyes, just like the Sith do. And so does literally every other member of his species, but don't worry about that because you might notice how he waves his hand during key scenes in the movie the same way that the Jedi do whenever they use mind tricks. And that's why every droid in the entire movie immediately profiles him for some reason because his mind control doesn't work on them if they're not alive.
You know, I find that Jar Jar creature to be a little odd.
And if you still aren't convinced, at Liam Neeson's funeral, you can see him smile, kind of. But who's he standing next to? Palpatine. The same person that he would later grant emergency power to in the second movie after someone was insane enough to give this dipshit an important role in Parliament. The only reason that Palpatine was able to take control of the galaxy was because of Jar Jar Binks. That is not even a theory, that is literally the plot of the movie. Which makes even more sense when you remember that Jar Jar and Palpatine are from the same planet.
Always do.
Holy shit. Okay, hold on. Those last couple tidbits of information actually genuinely make this theory make sense. Maybe Jar Jar was hitting us with a 10 billion IQ play, like we just didn't even notice. I guess now we've noticed.
No more, no less. A master and an apprentice.
And in the scene where Natalie Portman convinces Liam Neeson to take her with him for the rest of the movie, look at the lip sync here, okay? Enhance that footage.
Spaceport is not going to be pleasant. The Queen wishes it. The Queen wishes it.
Depending on how much sleep you get, that is either random lip movements or blatant evidence And he does it again to Natalie Portman later on, okay?
Queen doesn't need to know.
Well, I don't approve.
Are you beginning to believe?
I have a bad feeling about this.
I don't sense anything.
It's not about the mission master, it's something elsewhere. Elusive.
And okay, maybe you can be like, well, no, that's stupid because none of that ended up happening in the other prequels. Yeah, because George Lucas is a pussy, okay? Like when The Phantom Menace came out and half the population of the world wanted George Lucas dead for giving Jar Jar more screen time than the lightsabers, he apparently had to like completely rewrite the second and third movies to the point where Jar Jar ended up being in them for like 2 seconds. So maybe he gave up on what could have been the greatest twist in cinematic history. But people didn't give up on the dream, okay? Because when Disney put out their own Star Wars movie about 15 years later that ended on a cliffhanger of a brand new bad guy Snoke, this shit started all over again.
People have written 20-page blog posts that your character is the evil Jar Jar Binks. Care to comment?
No.
Well, it's true.
But no. He was just a
What?
random clone grown in a lab by Palpatine. Okay. But I don't care, okay? Because I am...
Yo, there's a police officer chasing some fucking dude right now. Maybe we gotta... Okay, no, maybe that's probably the ambulance. Who's dying? Imagine fucking dying on a Sunday morning. Like, what the fuck, my guy? Of all the days you could possibly be dying, you're dying on Sunday? Like, bro, you couldn't have just died on Monday, Tuesday, fucking Wednesday, or Thursday. You know, the days you gotta work. But instead, you gotta choose to die the day you've got no work. Like, bro, seriously? Like, whoever is in that ambulance, y'all better live, all right? Y'all better survive that. Imagine dying on Sunday. Imagine choosing to die on Sunday. If you're gonna die any day of the week, die on Monday or fucking Tuesday.
a Jar Jar truther now.
The first script that everyone got when we landed for Attack of the Clones, that was the title page, Jar Jar's Great Adventure. It was George kind of saying, right now it might be rough, but in the future, you'll see that this was all Jar Jar's Great Adventure.
Whoa, that's crazy. Well, in any case, yeah, that's pretty much the end of the stream. Damn, that stretch was good. Holy shit, that stretch was good. Oh my goodness, that stretch was good. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the stream, guys. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for watching the stream. I'm gonna be... My voice is dying. I'm not gonna be able to talk tomorrow. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Thank you guys for watching the stream. Thank you guys for watching the videos, because I'm gonna be chopping the stream up into little itty bitty bits and like posting them into. Yeah, y'all probably will never see this part of the video ever again, but you know, yeah. Have a great day, guys. Yeah. Merry Christmas, by the way. I'm not feeling the holiday spirit this year. Because it just doesn't feel like we really hit the Christmas spirit this year. We got low Christmas aura. That's why we've got to say Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a great year. And have a great year. Have a great next year. Hopefully next year is